Well, yes, I will gladly take that. I'll gladly take every memento from this whole time. Wow, you guys got me good. Hi, Jamie Davis. How are you? Good. You got in on this whole thing too. I'll never forget that. You know, like everything, like Michelle clearly stated, it was June 9th. I was looking at the records from back then, and I said, "Oh my goodness, it was June the 9th," and here we are.
Again.
The band is back together again for another night.
And those people that have been trying to escape us for 25 years, they never got away.
No,
here we are again.
Here we are again. We're back, and Michelle's loving every minute of this too.
Oh, I know she is.
She's got a grin from ear to ear, and then all over again.
I think she's our biggest fan right over there.
It's been a lot of fun, and my dad's here, my cousin Andy, my little brother Kevin, my little big brother Kevin. Wow. Well, yeah, we got races to call here. First heat for the Donnath Motorworks Limited Sportsman is on track. And it will be Jason Rarick up on the front row on the pole in the number 4 machine alongside of the 21 of Hayden Howard, Patrick Kudrinko, and the 35, 90 Caleb Howard. Row number 3, Mike Durham in the 6, Eymarah Bowman, last week's winner in the 5, and Tim Halsey in car number 40. 6 laps will be the distance. Bob Johnson Auto Group base truck with Am Speedway right along the side of it. Heading towards the safe haven of the pits at turn number 3. Laps. Separate green once again, 6 laps is the distance. Chief Director of Traffic Control, Mike LeClaire, is going to look the field over here in turn number 3 and 4, and we are underway. Green lights are on, and we're off and running. Jason Rarick to the point. Caleb Howard drives around the top side of the speedway. He'll pull up into the lead. Rarick back to second. Patrick Kudrinko up to position number 3 as they work in turn number 3 and 4. Mike Durham chasing from spot number 3 and 4, and they're getting pretty dicey towards the back portion of the field. Hayden Howard got shuffled out of line as they complete lap number 1. It is Caleb Howard on in front of this field. Rarick and Durham dicing it up for second and third right now as they hit the back straightaway. Durham, the veteran, gets down to that inside portion of the racetrack, is behind them. Eymarah Bowman and Patrick Kudrinko having it out for 4th and 5th. Brown charges by Kudrinko to move to the 4 spot as they click off lap number 2. It is Caleb Howard in control of it. And Hayden Howard, car number 21, slow moving down here in the front straightaway, trying to get it to the infield out of harm's way, but I don't think he's going to make it. Yellow lights are on with 2 laps complete in this 6-lap heat event. So, just about set to get it back under green. 2 laps are complete. So we are ready to go green off of turn number 4. Green lights are on and we're underway. And Caleb Howard once again powers to the lead. Mike Durham. A lot of laps around this speedway here at Can-Am, holding on to the 2-spot. Eymarah Bowman, who picked up the feature win 1 week ago, holding on to position number 3. Patrick Kudrinko still there in spot number 4 as Tim Halsey jumps to the 5 spot around Jason Rarick with Hayden Howard completing it. 3 down, 3 more to go in this opening heat race for the Donnath Motorworks Limited Sportsman, and Caleb Howard enjoying about a 5-car length advantage. Mike Durham A lot of wins here at Can-Am, holding on to second as they work in turn number 3 and 4. Eymarah Brown giving chase from spot number 3, proving last week's win was no fluke. She is on the charge and going forward in a hurry. 2 to go, says Mike LeClaire, and Caleb Howard looking to get another heat win here in 2025 as he brings it down the back straightaway. Healthy advantage over the rest of the field right now, trying to put it on autopilot and run the rest of this one out as they come back down to the line. White flag in the air. Mike Durham now under attack from the 5 of Eymarah Bowman as they go to turn number 1 and 2. Kudrinko, Halsey in the top 5. Jason Rarick and Hayden Howard complete the rest of your field. Checkered flag will be waving this time by, and no contest at the front of the field. The heat win. First of the year will go to Caleb Howard. Mike Durham will hold off Eymarah Brown for second. Patrick Kudrinko comes home in third. Battle on for the number 5 position. Jason Rarick's going to get it. Tim Halsey and Hayden Howard. Great opening heat race there, and it's Caleb Howard to victory lane for heat race number 1. And for the call for heat race number 2, the man who started this fiasco 25 years ago, and I'm glad he did, Jamie Davis, to call heat race number 2. Jamie, it's all you.
Heat race number 2 coming up on the line, and here's the way it's going to go. Row number 1 on the inside will go the 747 out of Fine New York of Hayily Brownell. On the outside will go the 76 of Grayson Soper. Grayson out of Harrisville. Row number 2 on the inside will go the 44 of Mason Rogers. And on the outside, out of Fulton, New York, the 33B of Brianna Murtaugh. Next row on the inside, he hails out of Parrish, New York, the number 20 of Brayden Bullock. Brayden Bullock in the 20. And on the outside will go the number 11 out of Watertown, New York. That's Genavieve Bartlett. Genavieve Bartlett in the 11. And bringing up the rear, and the number 14. He hails out of Evans Mills, New York. That's Cam the Man, Camden Cook. All right, here they come off that turn. Green flag is out and we're racing. And 4 of them are across the track in the beginning of that start. And Genavieve Bartlett finds a hole and goes right up through and takes that lead as they head down the backstretch in a whole lot of hurry. Rogers is right there in the number 2 spot. Then comes Murtaugh in the 33B as they come off the turn for the first time. It's Genavieve Bartlett up in front. And a change going on for the number 2 spot. Murtaugh moves up on the inside of the 44. Rogers can't quite do it as he backs out of it and drops back to the number 3 spot. Bullock rides back there 4th. And then comes the 76 of Grayson Soper. That rounds out your top 5. Off the turn they come. Genavieve Bartlett trying to open it up here. She's got about a 6-car length lead over her nearest competitor, Mason Rogers, who sits there in the number 2 spot. Murtaugh still sits there in second, then a gap of about 7. Back to the number 20 of Bullock. And he and the 76 of Grayson Soper are having the best battle of all back there for that 4th and 5th spot. Genavieve Bartlett, the leader at the halfway mark. And she has about a 6-car length lead over Rogers in the 44. Murtaugh still rides in the number 3 spot. Bullock back there in 4th. And the 76 of Grayson Soper rounds out the top 5. 2 to go for Genavieve Bartlett out of Watertown, New York. In that number 11, she's having quite a season so far here at Can-Am. And she's got about a 3-car length lead on the 44 of Mason Rogers, who rides back there 2nd. Then a gap of 3 more. Back to the 33B of Murtaugh. White flag is out, 1 lap to go for the 11 of Genavieve Bartlett. Rogers still sits there in 2nd. Murtaugh is back there in 3rd. Bullock still rides there in 4th. Then about a 10-car length gap back to the 76 of Grayson Soper. And then the checkered flag is now out, and Genavieve Bartlett will take the checkered flag. Rogers will finish in the number 2 spot. Murtaugh will finish in 3rd. Bullock will get the number 4 spot. And rounding out the top 10 is Grayson Soper. Rounding out the top 5 is Grayson Soper. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice hand out of Watertown, New York, the number 11 of Genavieve Bartlett.
Well, Mr. Davis, you have not missed a step either. We've got...
I have a hiccup now and then, but as far as missing a step goes,
no.
Not at my age, I don't want to miss a step.
No, you don't want to miss a step now because it'd be...
I'll go right down.
Could be all bad.
Yeah, that won't be good.
Well, it got the Panther Frameworx crate sprint cars next. And how cool is it? I know that you followed the racetrack for a little while. How cool is it to see George Sanford finally win a sprint car race?
That's great. He's been doing it a long time, and to get out here and do it in a sprint car, he's done it in other cars.
Right.
But to get out here and do it in a sprint car, that's fantastic.
We talked a couple of, actually last season, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this or not. I'm not sure if I want to. Now, guess what?
Yeah, you get a win under your belt, and you say, okay, I'll keep doing it.
Yep, exactly. So, and he's going to do it twice in one night. He'll be in the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman later on.
That would be great.
Yes.
That would be great.
Driving that man's race car right next to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yes. So, heat race number 1. We'll give the starting lineup in just a few moments as we roll on here. 25th season. Wow. Been a while. We'll have some memories here as the evening goes on, but on the pole for heat race number 1. 6 laps is the issue, by the way. Ken Klinkowsky on the point, the 30, and Nick Webb, a rookie in this division, the 27W. Row number 2 is Tucker Donath, the Z28. 271, Tiger Chapman will join him. Row 3, it's Rachel Zacharias, 71, one of Josh Verne Jr. Josh Vanbrocklin in the 89N will complete it. As the drivers continue to work around this racetrack, cleaning the motors out, and they'll get lined up and ready to go. So lineup is set. We are ready to go racing next. 6 laps is the distance. I'm going to leave that lineup right there for both of us. That will help. Ready to go, 6 laps the distance, off and running, and we're green. And Ken Klinkowsky did not fire on that initial start. He's moving very slowly into turn number 1 and 2 as the 271 of Tiger Chapman has taken over the race lead, but we will go caution as Klinkowsky in the number 30, not able to get the car back up to racing speed. So there he goes. He got it refired that time. And we'll try it again. Ken Klinkowsky, a lot of laps around here, Can-Am. So the 30 of Klinkowsky is down here in front of us. And we got a spa that is going to be given away, a spa day. My dad's up here. My goodness, all the celebrities are here. Karen Davis, Jamie Davis, Bob Thurston Jr., everybody. Set to go. Nick Webb will take over the point here. Tucker Donath alongside the 271 of Tiger Chapman inside row number 2. Rachel Zacharias, Josh Verne Jr., Ken Klinkowsky jumping a whole bunch of cars there on that start. We're underway. As Tiger Chapman rolls out into the race lead, Nick Webb back to position number 2 as they head up into turn number 3 and 4. Tucker Donath up into position number 3, and Rachel Zacharias goes around, keeps her foot in the throttle, trying to keep it going, but will not be able to. And a big cloud of dust over there in turn number 4 for Rachel Zacharias in car number 71. Oh, one lap is completed. So the 271, Tiger Chapman will lead him back to green. Nick Webb, aboard the number 27, will roll off second. Tucker Donath, a really, really good record here in this Panther Frameworx Crate Sprint Car division. 5 career feature wins to his credit here at Can-Am. Got the first one back on August the 5th of 2022, the first ever year we had this class here. The driver that they're all chasing, though, is that 1V, Josh Verne Jr. He has won the track championship every single year that the division has been in existence at Can-Am. We invited Cousin Annie to be up here in the VIP booth where all the food is. You better be. You know, him and I, when we were kids, Jamie, we used to, every time a guy would win a feature race, we'd all huddle down here at the flag stand trying to sneak by the PR director at the time. And every year I get a message from somebody, I saw you and your cousin in another Victory Lane picture that I had at Can-Am.
Oh, it's all about the FaceTime.
Absolutely.
And now with technology, it really is all about the FaceTime.
You got that right, it is too. Well, we're ready to get back underway. Here we got 1 lap complete, 5 more to go. We're back underway. And once again, Tiger Chapman rolls out into the race lead. Nick Webb right there in the second. You see how good Josh Verne Jr. is. He rolled around the top side. He went from 6th on that restart to 3rd, and he's putting pressure on Nick Webb for position number 2 as they come back down to the line. Verne right there on the inside lane trying for 2nd, and he's got it as they go to turn number 1 and 2. Nick Webb up around the outside portion of the speedway. Josh Verne Jr. still down low. Tiger Chapman, he is checked out. He's in another county right now. That's how big of a lead he's got here at Can-Am as he rolls it through turn 3 and 4 and down to the line. Halfway home, 3 down, 3 more to go here in this opening heat race, or this opening heat event here for the Panther Frameworx Crate Sprint Cars. Nick Webb along with the 28 of Tucker Donath holding on to 3rd. Josh Verne Jr. is backpedaled just a little bit. He's back to 4th under attack from the 89 of Josh Vanbrocklin with 2 laps left to go. In the meantime, the 271 of Tiger Chapman well in command of this field as he'll bring it down to the line. White flag is in the air. Final trip around the Can-Am Speedway for Tiger Chapman as he'll set it up through corner number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Final time into turn number 3 and 4. Tiger Chapman, Rochester, New York, will bring it across the line and the win will go to Tiger Chapman. Second will be the 27 of Nick Webb at the line for 3rd. It will be the 28 of Tucker Donath. Josh Verne Jr. will cross in 4th. Josh Vanbrocklin, Ken Klinkowsky, and Rachel Zacharias. And that will do it. Heat race number 1 of 2 for the Panther Framework Crate Sprint Cars are complete. Mr. Jamie Davis is back with us. He'll have the call for heat race number 2. Mr. Davis, it's all you.
Thank you, Tim. Heat number 2 coming out onto the speedway. Here's the way it's going to go. On the pole, roll number 1 on the inside out of Brewerton, New York. Driving the number 6, that's John Liberty. Liberty in the 6. On the outside will go the 72 out of Gatineau, Quebec. That's Bruno Richard. Row number 2 on the inside out of Picton, Ontario, the number 87 of Andrew Hennessy. And on the outside, out of Lafargeville, New York, the number 25 of George Sanford. The next row on the inside, out of Watertown, New York, the 89X of Chris Nethers. And on the outside, the number 74 out of Chittenango, New York, that's Will Fisher. And bringing up the final spot, he hails out of Gatineau, Quebec, the number 93 of Guy Goslin. Guy Goslin in the 93. 6 laps for the Panther Frameworx 602 crate sprint cars. He'll get lined up and ready to go.
93 not up there.
Panther Frameworx Incorporated is located at 321 Wobble Street in Syracuse, New York, and you can phone them at 315-771-7847 or visit their website at pantherframeworx.com. Your home for all your sprint car needs in both northern and central New York. Okay, cars are regrouping, getting set for this second qualifying event. And one of the things I noticed, Tim Halsey, is it's great
Yes,
to
sir.
see that this sprint car division is starting to increase in numbers.
It really has. You know, we went from, 5 or 6 drivers a night when we first started. Now we're up into the double digits, 14, 15 cars. Very impressive to see more of these cars just coming out of the works. John Liberty has run with us all year, the 6 car. He's never driven a race car in his life.
Yeah.
And last week, it was just an unfortunate thing. It was a small technical error, but rules are rules, right?
That's right.
And the gracious thing that John Liberty did today, he walked over. George Sanford said it in the interview in Victory Lane. He walked right over to George's trailer. They're parked 2 spaces down, and he handed the trophy to George. He says, "This is yours. You deserve it."
Wow.
Now that's class right there.
That is class.
Yeah,
That goes a long way in the sport, especially with sponsors.
right.
That goes a ton with sponsors. They like seeing that.
Absolutely. And John will get his share of wins, too, by the way he
Oh,
ran
yes,
last
he
week.
will.
Just watch. Heat 2. All you.
All right, here they come. John Liberty and veteran campaigner Bruno Richard. Here they come. Green flag is out and we're underway. And Richard jumps out there in the lead on the outside of Liberty, and he'll take that lead, and boy, he's really opening up as they head down the backstretch. Liberty is back there in the number 2 spot, but a 3-way battle now for the number 2 spot out there. It's almost 3 of them across the track as the 87 of Hennessy will get by, and he'll take over the number 2 spot. Liberty drops back there in 3rd. Sanford is up to the number 4 spot. Look out over there. Nethers got down on the very low side of the speedway and may have caught that tire down on the inside. Way out in front right now, Bruno Richard out of Gatineau, Quebec. Had a great showing at the end of last season in some of the tour races for the 602 sprints as well. Bruno has opened up about a 10-car length lead over his nearest competitor, Andy Hennessy, who sits back there in the number 2 spot. Battle is on for that 3rd spot. Sanford has taken over the 3rd position. Liberty sits there in 4th. Nethers is back there in 5th. As they come off the turn again. With 2 remaining, Bruno Richard is starting to check out on the rest of this field. Hennessy is trying to keep it close. And then another gap of about 20 car lengths back to Sanford in the 25. White flag is out again for Bruno Richard out of Gatineau, Quebec. Hennessy still sits there in 2nd. Then I'll gap back to Sanford in the 25. Then comes Liberty in the number 6. And And Richard comes off the turn. Checkered flag is out, and Richard will take it. Hennessy will get the number 2 spot. Sanford looks like he's going to get the number 3 position. Then comes Liberty in the number 6. And rounding out the top 5 will be the 74. Gentlemen, how about a nice Andy Hales out of Gatineau, Quebec for Bruno Richard.
And there we have it. Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 350 modifies next, Jamie.
And to carry along with that first qualifying event, once again, ladies and gentlemen, here's Tim Valls.
Thank you very much, Jamie. As we are just about set, ready to go. 8 laps is going to be the scheduled distance. Up on the point in the number 21, that is Andy Howard. He's out of Hammond, New York. Alongside of him, in car number 39, that's Ryan Bartlett, row number 2. Out of Mexico, New York, the number 12, that's Anderson Bowman, along with the 66 of Derek Webb. Row number 3, it's the 9 of Tyler Meeks, alongside the 31 of Lance Willix, last week's winner. Row number 4, 19 of Tim Fuller, 4-time defending track champion. Alongside of him in car number 23 out of Lafargeville, it's Cameron Black. 8 laps is the distance, first of 2 heats of the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds. Am Speedway Pace Truck from Bob Johnson Auto Group. Rolls off the speedway, and we are green. Oh, and Meeks and the 12 of Madison Bowman make heavy contact down there, corner number 1 and 2, but they straighten it all out, and we're 3 wide for second. Lance Willix makes the big move to the inside lane. Derek Webb, Andy Howard up around the top sides. They'll click off lap number 1. It's Ryan Bartlett in command of it. Willix, Derek Webb, the top 3. Now Madison Bowman under attack from Tyler Meeks in the 21 of Andy Howard. Keep in mind, 27 years ago on this very day, Andy Howard won the Pure Stock feature here. Just a little side note, as he goes around the outside of Madison Bowman, catches a bump over there, and will lose about 3 or 4 spots in the process as they work at lap number 2 in this 8-lap heat event. Ryan Bartlett setting out there toward pace in the early going. Lance Willix has been fast no matter where he goes. Keep in mind, he took this very same 358 modified all the way to Thunder Mountain Speedway a couple of Mondays ago, competed against the big blocks and finished a very respectable 9th, and he's showing the power of that small block, going down to the inside of Ryan Bartlett for the lead as they work it into turn number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Drag race to turn number 3, and it's Lance Willix poking his nose out in front of the field. He'll grab the lead. Bartlett relegated to second as we come to the halfway point. 4 down, 4 to go. Willix still your leader. Ryan Bartlett, Derek Webb, Tyler Meeks, and Tim Fuller now the top 5 with Addison Bowman, Cameron Black, and Andy Howard completing the rest of your field. Down across the line, Lance Willix starting to open up the gap between himself and the rest of the field, looking for his second heat win of the season. Picked up a heat win back on May the 2nd. As him and Ryan Bartlett dice it up for the lead down the back straightaway. Willix has got the straightaway speed, and he's got a pretty good handling race car through the corners as well. Working it through turn number 3 and 4, back down to the line. We'll have 2 to go this time by for Willix. Bartlett still second. Derek Webb, Tyler Meeks, and Tim Fuller still your top 5. No change amongst the running order at this time as the top 5 space themselves out between about 5 car lengths apiece right now. Lance Willix, though, the driver of the hour, the current co-point leader. Down across the line, white flag is in the air. Final time, off of corner number 2, Lance Willix. Teresa, New York will set it up on the bottom side of turn number 3 and 4. Ryan Bartlett giving chase. He's going to run out of time, though. It's Lance Willix to victory lane in heat race number 1. Ryan Bartlett will cross in second. Derek Webb to third. Tyler Meeks, Tim Fuller, Addison Bowman, Cameron Black, and Andy Howard will complete the rest of your field. And that does it. Lance Willix continues his strong season. He said last week in victory lane that he is not concerned about points. He wants to win races and win a lot of them. And right now he is in prime position to possibly get another feature win tonight. We got a lot of racing left to go. Here's heat race number 2. Rolls on. Jamie Davis with the call.
Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 modified heat number 2 rolls out onto the speedway, and here's the way it's going to go. On the pole, row number 1 on the inside will go the 63 of Adam Roberts. Adam out of Watertown. On the outside, driving the number 7S out of Philadelphia, New York, that's Sean Shaw. Row number 2 on the inside will go the 18W of Scott Webb out of Brownville. And on the outside, driving the 21R out of Edwards, New York, that's R.J. Tresitter. The next row on the inside will go the 57H out of Rodman, New York, of Remington Ham. And on the outside will go the number 49 of Billy Dunn out of Watertown. The next row on the inside, driving the 621 out of Chaumont, New York, that's Zach Albertine. And on the outside, out of Savoy, New York, making the long haul in here tonight, driving the 117 Junior, that's C.J. Castelletti. That is definitely, Tim, a racing name right there. I love it. All right, off the turn they come. Green flag is out and we're racing. And down into that first turn, and Shaw will get that early lead as he comes off the turn and opens up about a 3-car length lead over Adam Roberts. In that number 2 position, 3 of them across the track for that number 4 spot out there. Round for the first time, and Shaw, your leader. Roberts brought back to third. And it is still Shaw up there in first, and he is really opening up here. He's got about a 10 or 11 car length lead over the second place runner of Scott Webb out of Brownville. Billy Dunn moves into the number 3 spot. Roberts drops back to 4th, and he's in a battle with R.J. Tresitter for that number 4 spot as they head down the backstretch. And it looks like Tresitter is going to get the edge as they hit the number 3 and 4 turn. Up in front, though, Sean Shaw in the number 7S. And we're going to see a lot of good things from this young man in the future in that number 7S. And he has opened up a tremendous lead out there. As they come down at the halfway mark, Shaw is still your leader. Webb still sits there in the number 2 spot. And we have a car that's slowed on the inside part of the racetrack. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the real truck car, number 49 of Billy Dunn, and some problems there. And caution coming out. And wow, that is not good as Billy Dunn off the pace entirely. Billy is speeding it up again. And I have no idea what happened there. He was running very well, and then all of a sudden just got off the pace.
Yeah, it just dropped off the pace, like you said, Jamie. And this is big right now. I know we're early into the season, obviously. Points are always an issue, no matter what week it is. But between Billy Dunn and Lance Willix, they have owned the top 2 spots of the point standings coming into tonight. They're currently 4 points back of one another for this track championship already, and it's Billy Dunn's birthday, by the way.
Oh wow! Well, I hope they get this fixed to get back out there again. I'm sure he doesn't want to spend his birthday sitting in the pit.
Absolutely not. 4 straight top 3 finishes coming into tonight, including a second place finish a week ago in the summer starter.
This is why they called you the encyclopedia of racing. I think everybody in the stands here and those watching us on TTD now see why they called you the encyclopedia of racing.
I appreciate that very much, and it was people like yourself, John Burr, and even Joe Murata taught me a lot about details and knowing what you're talking about and have the right statistics and the right information to back up what you're talking about.
Joe was always a stickler for that.
He really was, too.
And for sponsors.
Absolutely. And looking on our closed circuit monitor up here, they are backing the 49 up to his trailer. Wow.
Well, I hope that first they were looking at the back end of the car, and you don't like to see that, but they've moved. Well, they're still looking at the back end of the car. That is not a good sign. That could be anything from a fuel problem back there to a rear end, and I hope that's not a rear end.
Absolutely. Well,
a rear end, that's not good.
No.
Money-wise either.
The good news is his dad does have the parts truck here. The problem is he still has to pay for it. So,
yeah.
And Billy is getting out of the car and not moving too quickly either, but
no.
We'll keep our eye on that developing story as well. We're going to go back to green here with 4 laps complete, James.
All right, we're set to go. 4 laps have been completed, as Tim said. Off the turn they come. It's Webb and Shaw up in front, and Shaw takes that lead away as they head into that number 1 turn. And Sean Shaw once again has opened up about a 5 or 6 car lead. That car is definitely hooked. Scott Webb runs there in second. R.J. Tresitter and Remington Ham are having it out for third, and Tresitter will get the advantage as he takes over the number 3 spot. Remington Ham is back there in fourth. On the move, and that 621 is Zach Aubertine. He's worked his way into the top 5 with that car. Castelletti sits there in the 6th spot. Roberts is back there 7th. Still Sean Shaw up in front, and now has opened up a 10 or 15 car length lead, and he is getting a tremendous fight on the lower side of this racetrack and is making a lot of time down there. As they come down with a white flag waving with 1 lap to go for Sean Shaw. Webb runs back there in second. Tresitter is third. Remington Ham is in fourth. Zach Aubertine rounds out the top 5. Castelletti sits back there in sixth, and Roberts is 7th. Checkered flag is coming out on the speedway, and Sean Shaw will win this one almost by a full straightaway. Webb will finish in second. Tresitter will finish third. Ham will get fourth, and Zach Aubertine will round out the top 5. A tremendous and very impressive run. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice hand out of Philadelphia, New York, the 7S of Sean Shaw.
That was impressive. First heat win of the season, by the way, for Sean Shaw.
Bob Johnson, Dirt Car Sportsman are coming up next, and to call all the action for you in qualifying heat number 1, once again, here's Tim Baltz.
Thank you very much, Jamie Davis. As the first qualifying heat race rolling trackside, Greg Brinklow out of Kingston 707, Camden Cook in the 14 alongside. Row 2 is going to find the 34, that is Keegan Nyer, along with last week's runner-up in the number 92 from Calcium, that is Frank Sibley. Row 3, Eric Nyer in the 34, along with the 44 Taylor, the 2 of George Samper will join him alongside in that front row. Rounding out this group in car number 44, that is Taylor Dockstader, and first start of the season in car number 16S out of West Winfield, New York, that's Jeremy Slosik. Jeremy Slosik, welcoming him to Can-Am in car number 16S. 8 laps is the distance, first of 3 heats on the day for the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman, and we're green. Clean start, Greg Brinklow to the point, 3 wide back there for third, fourth, and fifth. Frank Sibley, Keegan Nyer, and Eric Nyer. Now we're 3 wide again. George Sanford, Taylor Dockstader, and Keegan Nyer in the battle again as they go through turn 3 and 4. Taylor Dockstader picks up 2 spots as Nyer way outside there, almost clips a piece of the walls, comes down to complete lap number 1. It is Brinklow in command of it. 14 of Camden Cook along with the 34 of Eric Nyer now into position number 3. Good battle for the 4 spot. Sibley has been running strong all year long here in that 92. Loses a spot, however, to the 44 Taylor Dockstader as they click off lap number 2. 8 laps is the scheduled distance right now. Greg Brinklow still looking for that first heat win of the season as he works the back straightaway. 2 car length advantage right now over Camden Cook, who's having a great run so far in the early going. He's up the second. Good battle here between Eric Nyer and the 44 Taylor Dockstader. Dockstader on the outside lane. Eric Nyer down on the bottom as they click off lap number 3. 5 laps left to go. Greg Brinklow has the lead, but I tell you what, Cam the man, Camden Cook right there with him on the back doorstep. 7 runner-up finishes last year in Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman action for Camden Cook. He would love to get a heat win tonight and possibly parlay that into his first career win. Cross the line, 4 down, 4 more to go. Greg Brinklow trying to hold on to this one, but Cook is giving him all sorts of fits. Down the back straightaway, Eric Nyer back there, position number 3. 44 Dockstader and the 92 of Sibley complete the top 5. Then it's George Sanford, Keegan Nyer, and the 16 of Jeremy Slosik in that order. Down to the line, 3 to go, and the pressure is on. Brinklow trying to hold on to the lead. Camden Cook right there with him. Here comes Eric Nyer. He's charging back towards the front of the field and the late going here. He's trying to get up to the back bumper of Camden Cook for the number 2 spot. 3-car battle right there. They're all strong enough to win this qualifying heat race as Eric Nyer picks up the 2 spot with 2 laps left to go. Camden Cook says, I tried for 5 laps to get around Brinklow. Why don't you give it a shot? Down the back straightaway, Eric Nyer once again on the back doorstep. Eric Nyer won the last 2 regular season features of last year, including the Dirt Car Sportsman Series race. And Eric Nyer's going to show us how it's done down on the low lane. He's got the preferred groove. He gets alongside of Greg Brinklow and makes the pass. White flag in the air. Final trip around. Eric Nyer picks up the lead. Brinklow trying to get it back as they go down the back straightaway. Camden Cook, Taylor Noxtater, Frank Sibley in that top 5 order. Checkered flag is out. Checkered flag is waving. And Eric Nyer gets the job done. Makes 2 great passes in the final 2 laps. He'll grab the win. Second goes to Brinklow. Third to Cook. Noxtater and Sibley in the top 5. Keegan Nyer, George Sanford in that order. What a great opening heat race. And Eric Nyer continues to impress week after week. Seemed like it took him forever to get that first career Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman win last year. Took him 7 days to get his second. And some extracurriculars going on over there. Keegan Nyer and Frank Sibley. Wow. Well, after all that has gone down, we are going to go heat race number 2. Jamie?
All right, the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman heat number 2. Out on the speedway and on the pole on the inside. Out of Inlet, New York, driving the 1D, that's Paul DeRutter. DeRutter in the 1D. On the outside, out of Natural Bridge, New York, the 18G of Justin Gadbaugh. Row number 2 on the inside. We'll go the number 9 out of Clayton, New York, of Logan Brown. And on the outside, the Fox 28 car from Watertown, New York, that's Tyler Stevenson. The next row on the inside, out of Kingston, Ontario, the 52 of Jessica Power. And on the outside, driving the 9B, the veteran campaigner Greg Gould out of Watertown. And in that final starting spot, ladies and gentlemen, out of Clayton, New York, the number 91 of Josh Rayom. Rayom in the number 91. And Tim, they're still hooking on to the 92 of Frank Sibley out of Calcium over there.
Yeah, Frank Sibley, a solid run 1 week ago, coming home with his career best 2nd place finish in this division. And Frank a standout on asphalt, but right now they got some work to do to get that front end back together again.
Yeah, that does not look good the way they're moving that front end around.
And Frank is he's surrounded by a bunch of good people down there, and he will most likely have the resources to get this one back together, but it's going to take a few people to get it done. But that's the unique part about this. There'll be a lot of people down there trying to get that back together for him, and hopefully he can come back out for feature time and try to challenge for that first ever win.
I've found in the past, Tim, that you come to the racetrack with a certain amount of people in your crew,
right?
And then all of a sudden you find that you gained like about 8 more.
That's
true. They start coming from around you to get you back in there. And I know a number of years ago it used to be, God, we got to have another car out there.
Yep.
And we got to get a big field here, and if you're sitting in here, that isn't helping us any, so they go over and help them out.
Exactly. And speaking of helping out, we're looking on our monitor up here. Chris Marcinko's got a good look at it. The 49 Billy Dunn, they got it all 4 tires off, almost off of that race car right now. They're checking underneath, and they are going to the rear end, like you mentioned, Jamie.
Yeah, that is not a good sign when you go back there. I saw them looking down into where the fuel cell is.
Yep.
And I noticed that they're going to put some more fuel in it. I was hoping that it wasn't something back there, because that can happen too. And you hear a spitter and sputter, and it's just not getting any fuel, and I'm hoping it wasn't that. But if it was a rear end, the first thing that comes to your mind is a dollar sign. That's the last thing you want to go.
Absolutely, and like I said, it's surrounded by, see, Billy is actually course, Billy is working on it himself, too. He's actually got his fire suit off now, rolling around under the car, so.
Well, they do have some time. I mean, we got a bit of a delay here right now, so they do have some time to get that car going again and fix whatever the problem is. We seem to be working on the opposite side of the car there on something, but you know, they could be working on multiple things while the main problem is being taken care of.
That's true. And they don't, they're not really in any hustle hurry up mode, so they may have this whole problem under control if there is indeed a major problem, but.
Yeah, sometimes it is something small.
Right.
And, you know, as a driver, you hope it is something small.
Exactly. Of course, as I mentioned, Billy Dunn celebrating his birthday today. Billy, 66 career wins here at Can-Am in Big Block and 358 modified, 6 track championships.
Believe it or not, I can remember when he was born. That's how far up the
Craziness,
line I am.
isn't it?
Oh, it's awful.
What happened to us kids?
We're not kids anymore.
And apparently not.
We're not. It's just awful.
Billy, of course, I mentioned the 66 career wins in the Big Block of 358 modified ranks. He also has a few wins in the IMCA modified division here. 5 times a winner between 2001 and 2002. Of course, he made the jump a couple of years later to the 358 modified division right there.
Yeah, June of 2001. So.
Yeah.
And that's right along about next week. I mean,
that's about it. You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're ready to go racing here. The guy on the front row for this is the winningest limited sportsman driver here, Paul DeRutter. He's still looking for that first Bob Johnson Auto Group win here tonight.
All right, here they come off the turn, and DeRutter in that 1D immediately takes that lead out there. And it's a mad battle for that number 2 spot, and DeRutter's got his hands full all of a sudden back there with Gadbois in the 18G. Stevenson is right there in the number 3 spot. 3 of them across the track for the number 3 spot out there as they come down past the stands for the first time. And DeRutter still has that lead in that 1D. The battle seems to be on for the number 2 spot as Gadbois had his hands full there for a minute, and now Stevenson is moving up. Brown, Stevenson, and Gadbois having a good one out there, and now another car joining the hunt out there as Jessica Power has decided to join the party in that hunt for the number 2 spot at this point, as DeRutter has that lead. Gadbois is back there in the number 2 spot. Brown sits there in 3rd. Stevenson is 4th. And Jessica Power wants to go up to the number 4 qualifying spot. Down on the bottom on the inside of Stevenson. Also the battle for the number 2 spot as Brown trying to get by Gadbois in the 18. Meanwhile, up in front, DeRutter has opened up about a 7-car length lead in the 1D. So it seems tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you get on the front end and you can hold it pretty good. It seems that the lead cars in all of our qualifying heats seem to be pulling away from the rest of the pack. Brown now has taken over the number 2 spot. Gadbois is 3rd. Here's Power on the inside again. And Jessica on the move as she moves up to the number 3 qualifying spot. And Jessica has set her eyes on that number 2 qualifying spot, trying to get to the inside of Logan Brown. But Brown will have none of that, and he holds on to the number 2 qualifying spot. Up in front, Paul DeRutter. About a 7 or 8 car length lead with 2 laps remaining in this second qualifying event for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman. Brown is back there in 2nd. Power sits there in 3rd. Then a gap of about 5 goes back to Gadbois. And caution comes out as we have a car up in the number 4 turn. And that definitely brings out the caution here. It might be Logan Brown in the number 9. That is up there in turn number 4. That is the 9B of Greg Gould. Thank you, Bobby. And Gould gets it going.
He's still learning.
So they'll realign the cars once again. Paul DeRutter opened up a big lead, but that lead has shrunk. On the move right now is Jessica Power in that 52 car, and she's picking off cars left and right. And I think if she happens to take over the number 2 spot, there's 6 laps are in, and I don't think she's going to have enough time to get that number 1 spot. But man, she has moved right up through the pack. Fastest car I've seen so far.
Absolutely, Jessica Power. A couple of weeks ago here at Can-Am, a lot of drivers were trying to figure out how to pass. She went from 23rd to a 4th place finish.
Wow.
And well, her soon-to-be stepdaughter right behind us, Victoria, is jumping up and down and screaming for Jessica to get to the front right now.
Well, she's doing a great job of doing so, as she seems to be the fastest car out there other than Paul DeRutter. All right, off that number 4 turn they come. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag is out, and we're racing again. And DeRutter takes that lead out there, but Brown is right there in the 9 car, and he's right up on the back bumper. Jessica Power is down on the bottom side of the racetrack. 3 of them vying for that number 1 spot. And Brown will get that lead. White flag is out, and Brown inherits the lead. 3 of them across the track for first. And DeRutter takes that lead back again. An exciting battle here in this second qualifying event as DeRutter takes over that number 1 spot once again. Brown drops back to 2nd. Power is back in 3rd. Stevenson is 4th. Coming off the turn, checkered flag is out, and DeRutter will hold on. Power will finish in 2nd. Brown will get the number 3 spot. Stevenson will finish in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 will be Justin Gadbaugh out of Natural Bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, he fought right back after that restart. How about a nice hand out of Inlet, New York, the 1D of Paul DeRutter. 3rd qualifying event for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman is coming up next, and to call all the action for you, once again, here's Tim Balls.
Thank you very much, Jamie, as we're set to go heat race number 3 of 3 for the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. Coming up next, we will have the first heat race for the Sundance Leisure Thundercars as Stevie Roberts in the 5R leads the parade out in the 5R out of Harrisville. Alongside of him will be the 17, that is Owen Nyer. Row number 2, we're going to find in car number 54, it's Brady Howard. To his outside is going to find the 18 of Gavin Isley. Gavin Isley, car number 18. Row number 3, the man who is currently tied for the point lead, that is the 33 of Richard Murtaugh. Alongside of him in car number 621, that is Trevor Gibbons, and completing the field in car number 410, that is Mike Fowler. Mike Fowler, last week's winner, current and defending track champion of the 410. Looks like Hayly Brownell just out there making some test laps on that 747 to make sure everything goes okay. Am Speedway pace truck from Bob Johnson Auto Group departs the speedway, and we are green. 8 laps once again is the distance. Richard Murtaugh wasted no time trying to go to the front. He picks off a couple of cars in the early going, but Gavin Isley is strong. Talked to him earlier tonight. He says, I seem like I can win everywhere else but here. He wants to change that. Tonight has not won here since 2023, and he is on the move early on. Alongside Stevie Roberts into turn number 1 and 2, and Gavin Isley to the point as they click off lap number 1. Isley started 4th. He's now your race leader. Roberts back to 2nd. Owen Nyer back into position number 3. Richard Murtaugh started 5th. He's now 4th. Trevor Gibbons completes the top 5. Brady Howard and Mike Fowler complete the top, or rest of the field rather, as the 18 of Isley in command of it. Battle is on behind them though from 2nd on back. Stevie Roberts, Owen Nyer, Richard Murtaugh digging down low. Richard Murtaugh, 3 wins already this season. He won 1 way early in the year at the Alltech Speedway. Also picked up 1 at Thunder Mountain a couple of weeks ago on the Monday, and last Saturday night at Land of Legends. Still lurking for that first career Can-Am win as he holds on to the 3rd spot, chasing Steve Roberts into turn number 1 and 2. Gavin Isley, just like a couple other cars have done tonight, checked out, driven off to another county. He's way out in front of the field by about 10 car lengths or so over the 5 of Steve Roberts as they click off lap number 4. 4 down, 4 to go in this 3rd final heat for the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. Isley about a 2.5-second lead, and Roberts gets the wheelie, gets some airtime. Hopefully Dirt Track Digest caught that one as Richard Murtaugh moves in to try to take the second spot away. Murtaugh moving all over the racetrack. Roberts a little sideways in turn number 4. That's going to open the door for Murtaugh to get through. Richard Murtaugh, he'll take over position number 2 as the 5 of Roberts back to 3rd. Owen Nyer, Mike Fowler now up into 5th. Trevor Gibbons and Brady Howard complete the rest of the field as we are down to 2 laps left to go. And Gavin Isley, he is literally taking the field to the woodshed and put a whooping on him here as we work in lap number 6 with 2 laps left to go. Sports Speedway a couple of weeks ago, he picked up the Dirt Car Sportsman Central Series opener at the port. His 3rd career series win, but he wants to get back to victory lane at Can-Am tonight. Straightaway lead of the white flag. Final time for Gavin Isley, Richard Murtaugh, Stevie Roberts. Despite clipping that implement tire in turn number 1 and 2, he's able to hold on to 3rd, and then the battle for 4th between Mike Fowler and Owen Nyer. Checkered flag is in the air and a dominant performance. Gavin Isley looks like the old man out there, driving away, takes the win in heat race number 3. Richard Murtaugh comes across in the runner-up spot. Stevie Roberts, Mike Fowler, Owen Nyer, Trevor Gibbons, and Brady Howard. So that will do it. Gavin Isley to victory lane in a dominant performance. Not the first time we've seen an Isley run away from fields here at Can-Am. His dad used to do it. And by the way, his grandfather was a pretty good shoot behind the wheel of a late model, 1983 late model champion here, and his dad, Billy Jr., 2-time street stock champion.
I saw the grandfather win a few races at Watertown Speedway too.
That's right, he certainly did.
He did fantastic with that number 18 car.
He certainly did, for sure.
Sundance Leisure Thundercars are out on the speedway. And here's the way that's going to go. Row number 1 on the inside out of Dexter, New York is the 73T of Timothy Greenfield. On the outside out of Watertown, the number 94 of O.J. White. Row number 2 on the inside out of Carthage, New York, the 22J of Jared Gilson. And on the outside, the 3R out of Evans Mills, New York of David Rasmussen. The next row on the inside will go the 17 out of Evans Mills, New York of Mike Greenfield. And on the outside, hailing all the way up from Rome, New York, in the 21V, Corey Vlad. And in that final starting spot, driving the number 25 out of Watertown, New York, that's Tyler Collette. That's your lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag getting set to come out, and we had 4 of them across the track coming into the turn, and our starter says, no, we're not going with that one. So they'll line up once again and try it all over.
Yellow, no stars.
So they'll realign them, and we'll do it all over again here in heat number 1 for the Sundance Leisure Thundercar. Tonight's sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mental Health Association of Jefferson County, and we're glad to have them with us here.
Absolutely we are. They've done a fantastic job, and that's what we're doing here at Can-Am each and every Friday night. We're featuring a local nonprofit each and every Friday, and a lot of great nonprofits already to start the season. I actually have the list right here, believe it or not.
Oh, you gotta believe that. I mean, that's no surprise to me. You didn't get an eyebrow raise there.
No way. Well, we've had the good folks from the Alzheimer's Association Central New York chapter, and then Fort Drum MWR, and then we had Watertown Vet Center, USO New York, the Armed Forces Tribute Night, and we actually doubled up. We had Victims Assistance of Jefferson County that night as well. So
this is a great thing right here that they're doing here at the Speedway to do this. I don't think there's any other track that's ever had sponsors like this before. I think this is wonderful.
And our marketing guy Sean is doing a phenomenal job, and he was giving away some spa passes earlier tonight. He's got more too, so those of you who didn't get a chance to get in on it, please be ready.
Green flag is out, and we're racing here in qualifying heat number 1, and out in front early was O.J. White, but looks like Greenfield fighting back on the inside, and a car way up on the outside part of the racetrack as the battle for first place continues here as they come off the turn and down the front straightaway for the first time. And we've got a new leader in the 21V of Corey Vlad. out of Rome, New York, and he's thinking, I didn't drive all this way up here to finish way back in the pack, and he's opened up about a 5-car length lead on his nearest competitor. So Vlad picking up where everybody else who's won a heat race tonight has left off with. And like I said, he's opened up about a 5 or 6 car length lead. And usually the cars that have been getting in the front tonight, ladies and gentlemen, have held it. 2 laps completed in this Sundance Leisure Thundercar heat number 1 as they come down the front straightaway into the complete lap number 3. It is still out in front, the 21V of Corey Vlad, and he opens it up even more. So the battle to watch right now is for that number 2, 3, and 4 spots as they come around to complete lap number 4. Vlad is still in front. The battle is on for second as a 73T of Tim Greenfield has got his hands full as Mike Greenfield is up on the outside. Greenfield trying to take away the number 2 qualifying spot out there, and he will do so as they head down the backstretch. So Greenfield up into second. Still up in front, it's Corey Vlad. Mike Greenfield runs there in second. Timothy Greenfield is back there in third. But Vlad has really opened it up here. Coming around for the checkered flag and an impressive win right here. Corey Vlad out of Rome, New York will take this first qualifying event. And the 17 of Mike Greenfield will finish in second, and Timothy Greenfield will finish in third. But ladies and gentlemen, boy, an impressive win out there. How about a nice hand out of Rome, New York, the 21V of Corey Vlad. Sundance Leisure Thundercar heat number 2 coming out onto the Speedway, and once again, here's Tim Baltz.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jamie Davis. And a little update on the Billy Dunn front. Looks like Billy is going to be able to make it back out. They report a broken brake caliper. So that is not a fun fix, but it's a lot easier fix than the rear end.
That is very good news.
Absolutely.
Brake caliper, you can get to that.
You got that
the other
right.
2 items, that's a little more involved right there.
Yeah.
One of them pretty much ends your night. The other one you might do something with.
Exactly. So Billy will be able to celebrate his birthday on the racetrack tonight as we get set to go. Heat race number 2 of 2. Final heat race of the day for the Sundance Leisure Thundercars. It's going to be Tony Frezzo on the point with the 19 of Colin Bonner alongside him. Row number 2, Colby Hibbard, the 28, 111J, Anthony St. Mary Jr. Final row, family affair back there. Francis White in the 60, Ron White in the 60R. That is your starting lineup. 6 laps is the distance. Can-Am Speedway pace truck from Bob Johnson Auto Group peels off the Speedway to the safe haven of the pits. Green lights are not on, and we are going to call that one back.
No start.
And race control says no.
Nobody wants to give an edge here at all.
No.
Let's see.
No, they really don't. And that's the thing with the Thundercar class brought to you by Sundance Leisure. It's been a very competitive class. Corey Vlad has really been the driver that's got everybody, he's the one that they're all chasing right now. But Tony Frezzo looked strong last week. Anthony St. Mary Jr., of course, you remember his dad. Tony St. Mary was a good runner here.
St. Mary, yes.
Yep. Drove the, I remember he drove the number 111 street stock for a number of years.
Yeah, he did. And I believe that Tony got his start driving in the Enduros.
Yep.
Believe it or not, at Abbins Mills.
You're right.
And it's great to see. It's great to see these families, one generation after another, continue it.
And of course,
fantastic.
And you saw Tyler Collette was in that heat race previously. Another famous Collette raced around the area too. Timmy. His dad. They never go away.
No, and it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
For the sport it is.
You got that right. Well, We're going to try this restart here once again, and same result. Tony Frezzo grabs the lead and drives away by a healthy margin as we go to turn number 1 and 2. Frezzo already out to about a 7 or 8 car length lead as the battle for second rages on between Colby Hibbard and the 28, the 19 of Colin Potter, Anthony St. Mary Jr., Francis White. They're looking to go to the front quickly as St. Mary goes to second. As they battle from third on back, it's Hibbard and the 19 of Potter. Potter gets shuffled out of line as Francis White, wow, is he cutting through the field quickly. Francis White picks off about 3 spots. His dad would be impressed with that move, as now Justin Pope alongside trying to find the way by as they work down the back straightaway with 2 laps complete this trip around. It's all Tony Frezzo, the 2021 track champion, looking to get back to that winning form as they come back down to the line this time by Frezzo. 1 heat win already this season. That came back on May the 2nd. Francis White still there in second. Anthony St. Mary Jr. there for third as the one of Justin Pope right there with him in spot number 4. And that's Colin Potter, Colby Hibbard, and Ron White in that order down to the line. 3 down, 3 more to go. And right now it is the Tony Frezzo Charity Classic here at Can-Am as he has got the lead. In the meantime, Justin Pope has taken his ride to the pits of the 1J. So this will move everybody up 1 more spot. We still got a battle going on for second behind our race leader, headed down the back straightaway right there as the 111 of St. Mary, 60 of Francis White dice it up for second and third. White drifting through the mid portion of the racetrack. It's a little bit too wide. That opens up the door for St. Mary to get on through. 2 laps left to go, and Anthony St. Mary Jr. now to position number 2. Francis White back to third. Colin Potter back to fourth. Ron White fifth, and Colby Hibbard completes the rest of the field. Down to the line. White flag in the air. Final trip around. Tony Frezzo's made this race look rather easy as they go to turn number 1 and 2. A full straightaway advantage. Back to the 111 of Anthony St. Mary Jr. in the runner-up spot. Then it is Francis White holding on to third. Colin Potter having a solid run tonight up into the 4 spot. But right now it's all about Tony Frezzo. He'll set it up into turn number 3 and 4. Back down to the line. Checkered in the air. Dominant performance for Tony Frezzo. Second heat win of the year. Second spot will go to the 111 of Anthony St. Mary Jr. Francis White will cross in third. Colin Potter, he will come home in spot number 4. And Ron White rounds out the top 5. Colby Hibbard will round out the rest of your field. Well, that does it. Qualifying heat racing action is complete.
Well, one thing I think we can say